everyone, my name is Sikta. I'm a junior doctor based in Australia, and I'm currently en route work. And I just wanted to make this quick video just to share my reflections on my long sprints of work that I've had. I think things are fresh in my mind right now. There are a ton of different emotions that are going on, and I just hope me just speaking out loud and talking through what I'm going right now might resonate with anyone else who's in the same boat, or might help out anyone who is to come and, fill my shoes. So I've had, I don't even know, I think like a sprint of 10 days on, and not gonna lie, it's been exhausting, and I'm on my last day to work, and like I'm really running on reserve energy. And I think I just wanted to talk about some reflections and I guess like coping mechanisms of how I've been able to get through these days, just because, not gonna lie, it's rough. The hours are long, it's not sustainable, and you get exhausted. Like, it is so tiring. I was speaking to a friend of mine, and she's just like, like, every time I speak with you, you're just working, and like it never stops, and like I don't understand how you're doing it, and like it's really not easy, and it doesn't feel good either. So I think let's talk about a few coping mechanisms of how I quote unquote make these long sprints of work easier, if not cruisy. So I think the first thing is putting yourself in a proper mental space, and coming to terms about the fact that, okay, you know what, I have a long sprint of work, and it's just coming up, and I just have to get through it. And sometimes when you just come to terms with something, prepare yourself for it mentally and physically, it just lets you power through, and it just gives you that like strength from within to just get through the day bit by bit, and sort of just like go through and reach an end goal. So I think that's one thing that has helped me quite a bit. I think the second thing is sort of just like putting that goal in mind, and looking forward to that end date. So I always plan something nice, be it a nice meal or a nice catch up with friends or whatever at the end of my sprint, just so I have something to look forward to once again. And it sort of just like is a goal-based schema, so it makes you a bit more motivated. And I think eating clean helps a lot. So the hospital is notorious for having like the most unhealthy and sugar-filled food ever. And like when you're just running around the hospital and just so tired, and sometimes forget to get lunch, or don't have the time to bring lunch, you ought to get these foods. And it's just like, oh gosh, sorry, that's uneasy stuff. Yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, and you ought to like choose these really unhealthy sweets that everyone has just left on the staff table. And I think having clean meals, or just like something that's light, has helped me quite a bit. It just keeps my stomach and my mind a bit fresh. So I think that has helped me just in general. Not like forget about long sprints, it just helps you regardless of what you're doing. I think doing small things that keep you active every single day, regardless of these sprints, has really helped me. So what I'll do right after getting back from work, regardless of if it's a 12-hour day or me finishing on time, is I'll do around like 20 burpees, or a set of burpees that just makes me absolutely like winded, just out of breath, and like increases my heart rate, gets those endorphins up. And I've noticed that I don't know, it just is like a shot of coffee, right? Like it wakes me up, and it just gives me a pump to get the rest of my day going, get some personal errands done, and just make me feel alive. So I think if you're able to, try to fit in some sort of activity, go for a walk, like break up that day from work, just so you can transition into like a nice time with just winding down or doing whatever after work. Otherwise, you're just gonna slump at home, sit down, and just be exhausted. Like, I've had days where I've come back from work, have sat down on my bed thinking I'm taking a break, and the next thing you know, I'm like awake, or like after a 3-hour nap, not knowing where I am, thinking I'm gonna be late to work, just like being completely disoriented. So try to create some sort of shift from work and transition into something that's a bit more pleasurable at home. But yeah, I think those are my main little tidbits from working some long hours. It is pretty much a rite of passage in medicine. Our hours are unpredictable as a doctor. You do have to just put in some grunt work when you are going through residency, but it's not hopefully gonna be our lives for forever. And like, it's a great learning experience. I think one thing that I forgot to mention is the fact that it really builds you as a person. And I think my main takeaway from this is just that, like, it makes you stronger. It really changes you and builds more ammo to your personality. You realize that you can get through so much more mentally and physically, and it just makes you resilient, which is really helpful when you come across like other adversities in life. So I think that's a major silver lining. And I think when you just go through so much pressure, you're able to prioritize and multitask, which is really great. It makes you put your head in the right space, and it makes you realize what is more important and what you need to get done. Like simple things like jobs on the job or at work are stratified. Like you're on the go, and you're immediately on a mental space of like, okay, what do I need to do? Like, what do I need to get done? And even when you come home, that sort of flows over, and you're just in the role of, okay, like, what are the most important things I need to achieve at the end of my day to be the most productive, or just make the most of your time, just because our hours are just so long, and you're just constantly like living at the hospital, at least when you're in training, which isn't the most pleasurable thing. So you don't really have much time left over for things that are not really important. So I guess that's one positive thing. But yeah, I think if you're able to just figure out a way of finding your own mojo with these long sprints, and I think reflect upon it, and I think if you have the ability to look at some of the silver linings of what you're going through and what you're experiencing, I think it just helps like put things into perspective, which is great. But yeah, and then you also, depending on what you do, and as long as you are loving what you do, like you get to see some really cool cases, get involved with some pretty cool things. So sometimes you just have to trade off certain things in order to get what you want. But yeah, that's pretty much my ramble on some long hours and my training right now. Hope all of you have an incredible day.